Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Neon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And we're going to follow up on the bloodbath over at Warner Brothers Discovery. David Zaslav is rocking the boat pretty hard, and now we have Warner Brothers employees complaining about some of the policies and saying that Discovery buying Warner Brothers is like McDonald's buying a 4-star Michelin restaurant and thinking they know how to run it.
I thought that was funny because Discovery Plus had the money to buy their ass.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. This is quite the situation. People thought it was going to be an equitable merger. It's not a merger.
No.
Discovery took over.
Right. And my next thing is, like, again, back to that comment. It's like, if you guys are doing so hot and you were worth so much and you were so 4-star, Michelin star, or whatever, why the hell were you for sale?
Yeah, you weren't bringing it. AT&T scraped Warner Brothers off the bottom of its shoe and moved on, and Discovery is going to continue to do the same because, frankly, Warner Brothers is bloated. It's not bringing it, and a lot of shit is going to get cut. We're going to see more cuts. Lots of articles out here. Got the Washington Post. You know, CNN's new ownership gut punched its journalists. No shit.
Well, maybe if they did their job properly instead of shoehorning in agenda at every turn, it wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, so I think this Washington Post reporter is probably afraid the same thing is going to happen to them eventually, and it might, you know. But, I'm looking at DC Comics, because DC Comics now, the only thing that seems to sell comics is who's sleeping with who.
They're not selling.
And they're not selling.
That's it. They're not selling. And they have to go to gimmicks like, what, his boyfriend's works for a terrorist organization now?
Yeah, Batman doesn't like Superman's boyfriend. This is not a headline that you would have seen 5 years ago.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine, even 10 years ago, reading, Batman doesn't like Superman's boyfriend? You'd be like, what?
What? What? So let's talk about that. We're going to talk about David Zaslav and the disembowelment of Warner Brothers, and I think it's going to get worse. I mean, remember, he was going from division to division, telling people what they wanted to hear. He was like, hey, CNN, everything's cool. It's all cool here. Let's have a cookout. Let's be friends. And a week later, you're fired. CNN Plus is shut down. Stick to news.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing. He said he was going to have them stick to news before he even went and met with them.
Yes. And I don't know what they were expecting, but, the Warner Brothers of old is gone. And at this point, you're going to have to perform or you're going to be fired. Just like how it used to be.
It's like, a job.
Just like a regular job, like a normal job. You either perform and you make the company money, or you bring something to the table, or you get let go. Sorry. Anyway, we're going to talk about that. Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. Over 267,000 subs.
Woohoo!
Again, more than CNN Plus had, apparently, which is why they got cut.
$500 million.
$500 million. They only had, 150,000 paying subs. And, David Zaslav came in, cut them. So we did see the original story where they were talking about, this is coming from Deadline, talking about Warner Media employees being asked to return to office on short notice, and it didn't go over very well.
But a lot of people had to go back to office. That's what I understand. A lot of companies, it wasn't a permanent solution, correct? It was for the pandemic, and then after that's over, people were expected to return to work. A lot of places have already called their people back, and they'll understand what they're so pissed about.
That they have to actually show up in meet space again, I guess. Because, this is kind of what happened with Image Comics, too. Remember, the union was like, we're all used to working from home, so this is going to be like a forever thing, right? We can just work from home forever.
You can't be a Michelin star restaurant if you don't show your ass up to the restaurant.
Yeah, right? How are you going to show them how to do their job? So, this was a leak, I guess. It was a 4-paragraph post they had posted. They said that the Chief People and Culture Officer... Adria Alpert-Rom informed staffers they will be required to be in office at least 3 times a week by June 1st.
3 times a week, and they're mad about it.
Yeah, 3 times a week, and can ease into that hybrid schedule by starting to go to the office at least twice a week in May.
Wait, you're required to be in the office 3 days a week, and they're mad about it?
Yes. So I think Zaslav is going to cut a bunch of people loose. He's probably going to see who's actually serious about working for us, because nobody's owed a job. And since we're transitioning the company, I can fire anybody I fucking want to fire.
I just can't wrap my head around this. It's just like,
I remember, jobs I've worked at, and I've worked at tech companies. I had to fight to be able to work at home a day or two here and there.
And you had to justify everything.
Everything. And I had to document all my time. I had to make sure I was logged on the computer from this hour to this hour. And if I didn't answer the phone right away, they just assumed I was out.
Yeah, you were in the bathroom a couple times and they were failed. And you're like, great, they're going to think I'm not doing my job. Yeah. But I was literally just went to the restroom.
Yeah, so... So what happened next has been extraordinary. The story has become an unofficial referendum on the Discovery regime, which took over the combined company after the merger. The piece has been read 42,500 times.
Sure, more than that by now.
Yep, which is more than the workforce of the merged Warner Brothers Discovery, with the comments section taking on a life of their own as a message board for Warner Media employees who anonymously share their feelings about the return to work mandate and what the policy says about the changing culture at the media company.
I can't. First of all, the person's what they call chief people and culture officer. First off, that's just. And then secondly, they're mad because they have to return to work 3 days a week in the office.
Yeah.
Do you know how many people would love to be able to have 3 days in office and 2 days to work from home? A lot of people. I mean, just the entitlement blows my mind.
Yeah, this is crazy because basically it's like because of an unprecedented global catastrophe. To keep the wheels turning on the machine, we let people work from home. It's better than losing your job. But I don't think it was ever expected to be a permanent solution for people. Because I do think that some positions you can work remotely just as well as you can in person. But there's something to be said about having in-person collaboration. Now it's interesting though, going back to DC Comics, because if they were really serious about keeping DC Comics intact, they wouldn't have moved them out of their posh building and into a shared workspace, because that sounds very temporary.
Yeah, it does.
And I think DC might be on borrowed time here. So they said, the discussion's continuing in the comments section. They're talking about how they have to save money. They have to save money at Warner. There are a handful of supporters of the new 3-day-a-week in-office policy, which has been in place since last fall, but the majority strongly object to the mandate and threaten to quit over it.
Then quit! Good luck finding another job that lets you stay at home all day.
Yeah, he'll just replace you. This is going to be like Twitter. It's going to be the same thing as Twitter, where Zaslav is going to come in. He's going to have to clean house, just like Elon Musk is going to have to clean house at Twitter. Some people will stay. But there are so many people that got a free ride for so long that they think it's never going to end.
I can't remember my mind around this. It's like you had a job, it went to a pandemic schedule, you're asked to come back, and this is the way you behave. And it's like, well, then quit.
Quit. I don't know what to tell you. There are lots of other places that are hiring, but you know what? You're going to have to go work in person. A lot of these jobs, and
or if you get to stay home, a lot of them are like temporary work or piecework or something like that. Yeah,
because it is very hard to put somebody on salary and quantify what they're doing. But then the flip side is you've got people working in the office picking their nose too. You don't know what they're doing.
True, but I'm just saying. I mean, they want you in office. That was your job before the pandemic.
Yeah, that's the thing. This was never a permanent solution, but now they're like, we're going to quit because we can't work at home forever.
Some employees note that Warner Media's previous regime, who are no longer there, had done a survey during the pandemic with staffers overwhelmingly asking for flexibility. You know what? Of course you did. Of course you did. Do I get to work at home all day and do what the hell I want and say I'm working? Yeah, they're going to say it. They want that.
Okay, you want to talk about entitlement? Paragraph before it. Asking for patience, because Warner Brothers said that, give us some patience, have some patience while we figure this thing out, right? How this is going to work. This is what an employee
in these unprecedented times.
Yeah, asking for patience while Warner Brothers figures out what to do. And 2 weeks later saying, we don't care about anything except what we want from you is a pretty big disconnect, one person said. Not a very auspicious start to our partnership.
Then leave.
It's not a partnership. They're paying you for a service.
That's true.
You're not a partner. Are you a major shareholder?
I got an hourly job at McDonald's. I call myself a partner.
I'm a burger buddy. We're all burger buddies here. We all have a say in how the burgers are made. Actually, I'm a vegan, so we're just all the burgers are gonna be in credit.
Wait, I love this. Wait, hold on. This is better. A number of people claim that entire teams, including some in engineering departments, plan to quit if hybrid schedule is enforced. Wait, how are you doing an engineering job if you're not there?
It's hard. I mean, there are remote engineering positions.
But you still have to come in.
You still have to come in. Yeah, what this feels like to me is this is sort of an unofficial strike, and they're all pissed. The employees want to show David Zaslav who's boss.
Good luck with that.
Have you seen what he did to CNN? He didn't give a shit. David Zaslav doesn't give a shit. He's a honey badger. Stick to news. He's a honey badger. He don't care. He don't care. Elon Musk don't care if you want to work for Warner Brothers. They're your bosses now. Love it or hate it. And if you don't like it, look, I'm not saying you have to like it. There are lots of other places out there hiring. But I guarantee you a good majority of them are going to want you to show your ass up in person to do your job.
Why is Discovery insisting we alter our lives, change our work patterns, and come back to an office when many of us are about to be laid off? Could have easily just laid people off first.
I would just be like, if I was that, I'd be like, at this point, I'd be like, okay, you whiny bitches. If you get an email from us that you're still working for the company, you're still working for the company, the rest of you whiny bitches, if you don't show up in the office, you're done.
I would probably be like, who shows up?
Who shows up? Whoever shows up. It's like Highlander. Whoever actually shows up in office gets to keep their job. The rest of you, you're fired.
Mm-hmm. I mean, they're not going to have any problem replacing you.
No, it's like Twitter. They were worried about Twitter. Elon Musk more or less said he was going to gut Twitter. And he said that there's or he didn't say, but there was actually another guy who watches, job postings on Chatter, on LinkedIn and Glassdoor and stuff. Unprecedented interest in working for Twitter, even though Musk laid down the law and said, this is what I'm looking for, competent people, and you're going to work hard, but it's going to be rewarding, and we're going to build something great together, and basically I don't want freaking activists, and this is a golden opportunity for David Zaslav to get rid of a bunch of activists.
It's like a person who identifies themselves as an employee of Scripps Network, which Discovery acquired 4 years ago, warned, prepare yourself for a decimated culture. Again, before the pandemic, y'all went to work.
Yeah, I don't
understand this.
I don't understand that, and it's not like they were out of office for that long. We're talking like a year and a half, maybe. I mean, a lot of people went back to work. I mean, I do understand during the pandemic, it did show that some jobs could be done just as effectively from home or whatever. But a lot of positions, ideally, would still have you in office. To especially if you're working in production or something on movies or TV shows, like you can't be the gaffer or whatever on a production and work from home. No. You can't be the lighting guy or whatever. It's, come on.
I think this is funny. Many Warner Media staffers have previous experience trying to adjust to a different corporate culture after the company's acquisition by AT&T. In his first public remarks to them at the post-merger town hall, Zaslav promised that the merging of the cultures will be done with respect to Warner Media workers, who represent about 74% of the combined company. And so we need to now come together as one culture that starts with people feeling safe, people feeling valued for who they are, because number one, you can't be creative, he said. You can't be effective unless you feel comfortable. And now they're like, but we don't feel comfortable unless we're at home in our slippers and our PJs.
I don't think that's what he meant.
It's not what he meant.
I think what he meant was we want everybody to be comfortable at their jobs, in their offices.
They're not going to, when they said they're going to try to work with you to do respect to Warner Media workers, they didn't mean you get to demand whatever the hell you wanted. Oh my, I can't, the entitlement, I just can't even.
Well, here's the most entitled, this is what made me want to do this video, was this one. From an employee that has been with Warner for over 20 years, this really feels like McDonald's has bought a Michelin star restaurant and thinks they know how to run it.
Again, you've been with Warner for 20 years? Warner's been sold how many times?
Oh my God, yeah, like
right?
3-4 times.
They sold AT&T, and AT&T are scraping you off their shoe and selling you to Discovery.
Because you're not worth it.
Right. And Discovery could buy you. So I wouldn't compare yourself to a Michelin star restaurant. Michelin star restaurants don't get sold to people like McDonald's. I can't even. We're the Michelin star and you're McDonald's. Well, McDonald's has bought your ass. So,
now it's McDowell's.
McDowell's.
Get your kilts out.
I mean, if nothing else tells you the entitlement and the arrogance.
Yeah.
I get you're mad. But the whole idea of getting pissed off because you don't want to go to work in the office just blows my mind.
Yeah, they're going to take advantage of the situation. I think they stupidly, naively think that if they just sit it out that Warner's going to be forced to give them what they want, you know? And I don't think it's going to go the way they think it's. Again, they had no problem cutting CNN Plus loose, gutting CNN, and you know, having the mandate be that you have to stick to hard news.
Oh, these comments. Biscuit.
If
you don't want to work, there are 10,000 people in the Midwest who gladly move to LA to take those jobs because no one's guaranteed a job for life. Anonymous. Yeah, 10,000 people from the Midwest are not qualified to work in Hollywood. I beg to differ. People always think these jobs are easy.
It's like Walmart. So so this shows the attitude right there. You know, you're like McDonald's coming in and trying to buy a Michelin restaurant. You're just a bunch of Walmart workers, a bunch of hicks, and you think you can just move to LA and do our jobs.
Well, no one in LA is doing their job well. Hey, maybe you should get people from the Midwest and actually things will get done.
Work ethic. So we talked about people from Pennsylvania. A lot of people from Pennsylvania move to Hollywood and they kick ass. We know a lot of people actually in Hollywood who come from Pennsylvania. In a roundabout way. And a lot of it is the East Coast work ethic versus the West Coast work ethic. And I can say that because I've lived on both coasts.
Well, this next person, let me know what flight you're coming in on, but you need a minimum of $950,000 for a house in a so-so neighborhood. Then don't live in LA.
Don't live in LA.
You know, what else? They go on about this house, an electric car, gas prices or whatever. Guess what? Gas prices are high in a lot of places. Remember, this is LA, and you are what you drive. So I suggest a Tesla. You're supporting Elon Musk?
Oh my God, that toxic
private school tuition.
Asshole.
Plan on $16,000 per year per child. Look at this.
And this is somebody supposedly from Warner Brothers who's like, well, just so you know, you can move to LA, but you can't afford LA because our little houses are more than you'd probably ever see in your life, and I drive an expensive car.
But that implies that this person at Warner Brothers is getting paid enough to afford all that.
That is true. Now, they are correct about the housing. I've joked before. I said, you know, what's a mansion here? In most parts of the country, what is a mansion is like a freaking ranch house in LA. I mean, the mortgage prices or the home prices are ridiculous.
Number 4.
You're laughing. What's going on?
Number 4, a special skill set that the studio can actually use. Warner Brothers only hires the best of the best. And you'll need to bring something extra to the table. Well, somebody needs to bring something to the table because people that are there have run it into the ground. What did you bring to the table? You guys got sold how many times? And it's like, especially as you noted, there are so many folks who want your job or want your job. My work is highly
specialized.
Highly specialized.
I've been doing it for a couple decades, but I'm sure you'll pick it up quickly, along with all my institutional historical knowledge of the studio, and they're highly specialized.
What an arrogant fucktard. I'm sorry, but who is this person?
Anonymous.
You don't even have your name on there, you coward. You're on there acting like, well, you need all these things. So first of all, then by those prices, you're implying that you're massively overpaid, clearly. Yeah. If you can afford all that shit and you're that arrogant, you're also assuming people from the Midwest are stupid and don't make any money. Also stupid. You know, you're an idiot. Actually, it's funny to us. When we work in around cartoons and different things, the people who are over in LA getting this shit done are usually from where we're from.
That's what I was talking about. Like, I'm not going to name names, but if you start looking into, now a lot of them went to like Cal Arts or they went to, you know, California schools. But you start looking at where the people who actually get shit done are from. A lot of them are from the Midwest, the East Coast, and they move to California. They go to school, maybe there, whatever. You know, and they're not just handed a job. They're like, they wanted it bad enough to go.
Right, but you get it done.
You get it done.
Because it's work ethic. But this person is like an arrogant tool bag going on about, well, you come here, but you need all this money. Well, clearly that means you're overpaid because if you have the money to pay for it, then you must be getting paid how much? And then you're acting like anybody that comes over isn't going to be as smart as you because these are the same people that are comparing anybody else to McDonald's and Walmart, and they're the Michelin star. Well, again, if your ass is so hot, how come you keep getting sold?
Your hot ass is getting sold
again.
They
can't, and now they're bringing people in to scrape whatever they can scrape out. They're trying to get rid of people like this dipshit.
I'm curious. Do you have a lot of Ivy League grads there wondering about the credentials, neutral response? What is the best of the best?
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, are they right about the house prices? Yeah. Yes. Okay. So my parents bought their house in the Bay Area, their old house in the Bay Area in the 1980s. And they paid $175,000 for it back in the late 80s. And then we had, Silicon Valley, everything blew up. And when they went to, nope out of their house. We were talking, it was $2.5 million the house was worth.
Anonymous, please, anyone from the Midwest would lose their minds with the cost of rent here. People from the Midwest wouldn't be stupid enough to live there with the cost of rent.
There's a reason that Pittsburgh, a lot of Hollywood, outsourcing is happening in Pittsburgh. And the reason being is that the cost of living is still sane, but Pittsburgh actually gets shit done. I'm just saying. And I mean, look, you got arrogant assholes all over the place. And I want to be very clear too. I am not dissing everybody who lives in California. I'm not saying that everybody in California is lazy. But
no, we're talking about people who act like this.
Yeah, we're talking about people who act like this. And having spent a good chunk of my life in California, I will tell you there are a lot of people that have a very kind of, especially in the cities, that have a very kind of elitist attitude. Like, well, I'm from, I went to Berkeley. Well, fuck you. I don't care. So.
And this person's like, I don't understand. The last 2 years we've learned, why does everyone still think work can only be done physically in an office? There is no task in my job that requires being in a physical office. With everyone chatting all day, plus all the distractions from being an open floor plan, extra commuting time, it's actually way less focused work time.
Open floor plan, is that one of the DC Comics people? Because they got moved to the shared workspace.
I don't know, probably.
Then find something else to do. Like, look. If you think you can do better, I mean, look, I'm not being a dick about it, but I'm saying if you think you can do better on your own, or you think you can do better working someplace else, for the love of God, go. I mean, if I were working for Warner Brothers at this point, I would be like, I have to keep my resume updated because anybody could be let go at any point in time. And I sure as hell would not put a target on my forehead and be like, fire me because I complain too much.
Thanks for reporting on this, and I hope Warner Brothers Discovery leadership takes it seriously. I've been with Warner for 7 years, and you don't need to be in the office to feel the utter disappointment everyone is feeling with how this has been handled. You mean you have to go back to work? As you pointed out, Warner is the majority of the workforce, and they're treating us as if they've acquired a startup. No, you're a Michelin star restaurant. I know many people are looking for jobs at companies that aren't in the dark ages and have come to respect the work-life balance. Well, lucky you. How many people have jobs that you're expected to work? Mm-hmm. And the work-life balance isn't always a major part of it. I'm not saying that there shouldn't be better work-life balance in jobs. There should. But you guys are being entitled little assholes.
First World Problems responds to that. Some might argue that 3 days in the office and 2 days at home is the epitome of work-life balance. Just over 2 years ago, this would not even be a conversation. It fascinates me how easily people become entitled.
Thank you!
Everyone is replaceable. If you believe otherwise, go find another job and stop whining about working 3 days a week. Do you know what other people go through in other countries, in other industries? Mm-hmm. I mean, tell it to the person working, maybe somebody runs their own restaurant. You want to talk about restaurants? Somebody that's a small restaurant, runs their own restaurant. They do the cooking, they do the bookkeeping. They're working 7 days a week, probably 12, 16-hour days.
Right. And then, or tell it to people in the animation industry. Or the gaming industry.
Animation, they're working long hours now. There are a lot of complaints that they're only getting paid half as much as their live action counterparts for the same amount of work.
Your entitled asses couldn't handle it. I mean, why people are saying you're entitled? Besides the fact that you're having major meltdowns about having to go back to the office, that you had a job there in the office 5 days a week prior to this, to the pandemic. But when you're going around basically implying anybody who's not from LA is a hicky Walmart moron who couldn't do your job because you're specialized. Believe me, you're not that specialized. People like us kick your ass every day. And guess what? We live in Hicksville.
It's so funny. Like, you look at, and look, this isn't the brag, but I mean, it's the truth. You look at these, like, Hollywood produced YouTube channels, and I'm looking at like G4 and looking at stuff. And there are so many mom and pops working out of their freaking bedrooms that make these Hollywood productions, Nerdist and the rest of them, look absolutely fucking pathetic. And they did it themselves. They did it from the Midwest. They did it from down south. They did it from Pennsylvania. They did it from wherever.
And they get it done, and they don't have anywhere near the arrogance that you people have. And then, like, I love it. You're just like, you're so up your own asses. You deserved what you get because you're so entitled. I can't even. And then basically you treat anybody else like they're beneath you. And then you're mad because not everybody's kissing your ass and standing up for you. You sound like whiny brats.
This is, they're talking about how Jason Kilar got it. And somebody else said, Kilar is the reason we're in this nightmare. In 23 months, he destroyed Warner Brothers and convinced AT&T to sell Warner Brothers to Discovery. That actually is true. And he got his golden parachute. And guess where Jason Kilar is from? Pittsburgh.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm just telling.
Rich, privileged, lazy employees. They should be grateful they have a high-paying job as we inch toward a recession.
Yes, thank you, Mark.
Yep. Warner needs to cut them loose now versus Q4 during Christmas.
I agree. Don't do it at Christmas.
Yeah, there are 5.9 million Ukrainian refugees that have been forced to start a new life in a new country. I'm sure a few million of those women would be glad to work 3 days a week in a Warner Brothers office. Probably. You know?
It goes on and on. You get the gist. It's just,
Everybody's so upset and disappointed in the lack of care Zaslav has taken. Lots of people are job hunting.
Good.
A slew of other companies who respect work-life balance like Twitter and the flexibility we've learned is possible. You only have to show up in the office 3 days a week and this isn't respecting your work-life balance.
That's what I don't understand.
Oh my God. I just, seriously, we're talking 18 to 24 months of being able to work from home out of necessity because they had to keep the machine moving.
Right. And then you have the other person who's yelling about having to be in the office 3 days a week while going on about how you have to have a $1 million house, private schools, and clearly they have the money to pay for this. And they're mad.
What about my Tesla? Which I'm going to sell my Tesla in protest because Elon Musk.
I'm just like,
fuck it.
Check your privilege. You talk about these are the same people who go around going, check your privilege, white privilege, and all they're always going about privilege and everybody's privilege. These are the people behind a lot of the shit. Check your privilege.
Yeah, this is true. This is exactly it.
Stick it right up your ass.
And I wouldn't listen to a damn thing these people had to say on social issues or work-life balance or anything because clearly they are so effing out of touch with what normal people. What about all the people that lost their businesses during the lockdowns? What about people who lost loved ones during the lockdowns? What about people who couldn't find a job because businesses were going out of business, not hiring?
One more thing I want to say at the end. Super smart too, since they can avoid some layoffs because people who moved out of the state are now forced to quit. Why would you move out of the state? You knew you had to go back to work at some point.
Well, this is what happened. This is what happened with a lot of these news outlets like Gizmodo and AV Club. They were mad that they were going to move operations to California because the company that bought them is in California. They're like, we're moving everything. You guys can come. You're more than welcome to. We'll pay to move you out here. You can't move us. Who do you think you are, the owners?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh, I will give this one last person props. This WB. What high pay. Who thinks Warner Brothers pays well? I made $45,000 in Los Angeles. Now this makes more sense to me. Half of these Adnons have big mad opinions about facts they made up. Now see that I believe.
And who at $45,000 a year is buying a $950,000 house?
Exactly.
Such bullshit. Anyway, we're going to wrap this up.
Yeah, I think they get the idea. You can go look at this article for all the fun comments, and you can probably add some of your own.
Yeah, this is going to be brutal, and Hollywood is in for a very rude awakening. I mean, couple this with what's going on at Netflix and all these other media outlets that are being shut down, and Hollywood is going to be very streamlined.
It just blows my mind that like CNN and Warner Brothers, the people I'm thinking of people making comments, that they think they're the ones that put them in the company in this position by the way they behave, their activism, all this stuff. They're the ones who put the company in a place where people aren't listening to it, they don't care anymore, they're not backing it. And now, but they're the ones who are demanding the most. Like they have their hand, like they thought the gravy train was never going to end, and that they were just deserving of it because they were them.
Party's over. Gonna wrap it up.
Yep.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.
Now he's just tasty, delicious, rotten flesh meat, which I can consume. Don't read into it too much.
Just like our museum, the cafe's open and Brewster is eager to serve. I don't think this was in the show. Run, 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 run. Oh, you got splatted. Oh, she was begging and you kicked her in the face.
I don't care.
Hey guys, Squid King here, and today we're in a...
Not girl boss at all. She is not a material girl.
She is not. Oh, it's Christmas time here in your mom. Nobody wants to join your mom.
What?
Like I can't even cook kid cuisine right. I would last about 2 minutes with Gordon Ramsay.
What? Where is he?
He's hiding. He's hiding from you.
He better.
Oh my God, you got the axe.
Walker, does this look like Steven Universe? Let me punch him. Well, I'm just here for the wax. Right where you belong.
Get in the dirt.
Well, that was a combination of events I probably shouldn't have put together. Anyways, let's open this bottle too.
Chica Pinata. Is that official?
Oh, no.
There's a bootleg.
Hello. Ooh, I'm sorry.
Hey guys, it's Diamond Tool.
Let's make a farm.
Like and subscribe and buy my merch.
I mean, while you're here, you guys should like really like and subscribe and buy our merch, all of which we have.
That is true. You can't run on carrying trash. You can get away with one F-bomb per PG-13 movie.
I wish I'd known that sooner.
Yeah. All right, so we're going to wrap this effer up.
Yes.